And it is go time. Welcome to our CEO family global training. We've got some exciting stuff. My name is Seth Mulder. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a LifeVantage distributor and I'm a professional network marketer. And I'm super excited to introduce you to some amazing people on the team from around the world tonight. I know we've got people from Southeast Asia, Thailand, Australia, Philippines coming in, North America. We may have Europe on here as well. And in fact, go ahead and drop in a message or drop in the chat box where you're coming in from. I see Richard's in Logan, Utah. We're gonna run into some amazing stuff tonight. And I want to ask you a question, first of all. Number one, why are you here? I want you to think about why you're here, why you're in LifeVantage, what attracted you. We just had this song, one of my favorite movies of all time, The Greatest Showman, A Million Dreams. A Million Dreams. What were those dreams? What was one of those dreams that attracted you to the business side of things? You would not be listening to this meeting tonight if you weren't attracted at some point by the dream or your dream that the business could deliver to you. And I want you to think about it. I'm going to ask you this question. What is the one thing? What's the one thing that you are desiring, hoping, praying, believing, dreaming that you can accomplish, that you can attain or obtain through this business? What's the one thing? Okay. I see. Okay. I'm seeing a bunch of stuff lighting up, right? In the chat box. A better way to get back to others, Pro 10, financial freedom. I want you to get really personal about this, right? Because I really believe that unless this is really personal for you, you won't, and unless it's really specific, then it will be very difficult to focus your energies on it. So I want you to think about this dream. You got a million dreams. We're thinking about this one specific dream. What do you think the number one, like if we could be uber simple, uber simplistic about this, what's the one thing? The one thing that would really make a world of difference, that would help you to obtain that dream. What I'm talking about is what is the one thing that you need to bring to the table, right? We're not going to change Pro 10, don't need to. Amazing product. Company's rock solid. Best company I've ever participated in my entire career in this industry. I'm so grateful to be here. But what's the one thing that you need to bring that will make all the difference? And over my course of 19 years in this industry, I've come to believe and come to understand and come to experience that the one thing that will make more impact on my success than any one single other piece of the puzzle is the mentality and mindset that I bring to my business. And that's been challenging for me because I've been plagued for much of my life with a less than perfect mindset, mentality about myself, the voices in my head. And so earlier this year, I was introduced, I was kind of stuck at Pro 10. And many of you are like, man, I would love to be stuck at Pro 10, right? But here's what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Wendy's like, may I cursed and never recover, right? May I be cursed and never recover from Pro 10. Here's the deal. Being stuck at Pro 10 is very similar to being stuck at Pro 8 or being stuck at Pro 1.5. The stuckness is the issue, okay? And so I was frustrated. I knew I needed to change what was going on inside of my head. I knew I needed to change what I believed about me. And so I found an amazing mindset coach, Deb Erickson, who was perfect. I looked all over the industry, and there was only, I felt, one person who could really help me and who I trusted could help me in the best, most effective way in this industry, right? I'm not talking about doing personal development outside and all the books. I'm going to show you here all the personal development books I've done for the last 20 years. I needed to find out something about me that I didn't know, and I needed to fix me. And Deb has been a godsend. Absolutely answered the prayers. Stephanie thinks the world of her. She's like, I like that lady because she's telling me what I've been telling you, but you're listening now, right? It's that third party validation. So Deb has a system to help people, primarily women, by the way, in this profession of network marketing, to understand who they are, to be able to be aware of what's blocking us, to find the beliefs that we need to bust or build, and then to be able to make the correct choice points. And so we just finished an event with Deb this past weekend. It was called Escape the Ordinary. And it was a leadership mindset event where we were going to focus for 2.5 days on the leadership framework that we have about ourselves. Because again, what's the number one piece? What's the number one skill, what's the number one value that you're going to bring to your business that will make the biggest difference? Win, lose, right? Succeed or fail. It is your own mindset about you, your own belief about you. That's the number one pillar. So I had this belief, if we can focus on that, if I could spend 80% of my time helping you believe in you, helping you understand who you are, helping you know that you can, you will, and you are, right? If I'm going to put it in the first person, I can, I will, I am. If I can help you to understand that and to own it, I almost don't need to do anything else. And I'm saying this from my first person. That's exactly what you need to do as a leader. Good leaders have vision. Great leaders share vision. So I'm dedicating my time to helping share the vision I have about you, but helping you understand that and own it. So we just finished up this event. It was the single best event I've ever been to in 20 years in this industry. And we're getting ready for another. But for those of you who are not at this event, and I want you to get an idea about what you missed, and about what is available to you. So I'm going to go to Dondi and Marcy, a number of members of our team, and we had nearly 100 people at this event, by the way, virtual. I'm going to go to Dondi and Marcy and let them share their big breakthroughs. We're talking about some of the emotional work, some of the emotional baggage that every single one of us are dragging around, and it's burdening us. And when you learn how to discharge that, when you learn how to decouple that from your life, you will, I promise you that you will fly. So I'm going to turn over a few minutes to Dondi and Marcy Nettles, who are in Utah, right, for our fly-in this weekend. Woohoo! I'm so excited to see you folks tomorrow. But I'm going to turn the time over to you, and then I know you might have some team members who want to share as well. So we'll give you the mic.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So this event was absolutely amazing. And Deb, I know you're on here. We just love you already. And Seth, thank you so much for introducing us to her, for being such a small woman in stature, one of the largest giants in hearts that I have ever met. So some of the things that we learned during this event that just really kind of blew my mind and also really helped me understand exactly why I have been struggling with some things that I struggle with is that 7-year-old, that dang 7-year-old that's running my life 95% of the time. It's like, no wonder I am in the position, or had been in the position I was in, because I am not there anymore, is that, that 7-year-old that we don't recognize as being the one that's calling the shots. I mean, think about your business, guys. Think about anything that you wonder why something happened, or you didn't feel like you were in control. It's because your subconscious took over, and our subconscious is that 7-year-old, 7 years old child making the decisions for your business and for your life. And so learning how to be able to first identify that that's what's going on, and then being able to use some of the tools. And I'm loving the neuro tools, by the way, and I've got something I have to share about that. Being able to just change and then choose to step over that line, right, and get back in track was just amazing for me. So amazing for me. So do you want to share something, and then I'll share what's happened with my sleep?
Yeah, I think for me, the recognizing that I have the ability to pivot, once I identify what's happening, to pivot and go the other direction, and understanding, and I had done similar work. There was a book that I read a long time ago, and I've read it several times. It's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. One of the most difficult books I've ever tried. It took me like 10 times starting it before I ever finished it, because of the work that we had to do. It was a little complex. Deb just took the same kind of principles and simplified it so that my 7-year-old brain could understand it, and then recognize what's happening, give me the tool to, one, recognize, and then pivot, and then choose to go in the other direction. And since it's only been, I don't even think it's been a week yet, but we've already noticed major breakthroughs in our communication, the things that we're doing with ourselves, with our teams, with our goals list and those kinds of things. And then giving ourselves permission to become what we know we've always known. Whether somebody reminded us, and we've had people that reminded us, whether it was a stranger, for example, or someone that we love and care about that told us what we're capable of, but that identity that came in, the 7-year-old, that subconscious mind will stop it. Recognizing that we can stop them, or stop the subconscious from stopping it, and literally take back control and reprogram our subconscious. That was huge. And I'm really loving this exploration and the neuro tools, and listening to it every day, morning and night, falling asleep to it every night. It's been absolutely transformational.
Yeah, so for me with my sleep, so we all know how amazing IC Bright is, right? IC Bright is amazing, and it really helped me with my sleep. After I had been on it for about 6 to 7 weeks, I actually increased my REM sleep. But what I did after this event is I got some of those, they're actually the what is it called?
It's a shade.
An eye shade for night that has the speakers in it. And what I did is I started listening to Deb and to the neuro tools at night. And what happened is that with IC Bright, my REM sleep increased like 8%, guys. It was crazy. But do you know, just in this week, 2 nights, I have had more deep sleep than I have had REM sleep. That's mind-blowing. Because deep sleep is where our healing happens. That's where our bodies recover. And I know for a fact it's because I first was using the care for my eyes, but listening to those neuro tools for at least an hour before bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm listening to it again. So this event was invaluable. We absolutely loved it. And I know that we've got several people on. First of all, I'd like to see if we can have Odell Bowman come up and share her experience from this amazing event. Odell.
Thank you, Marcy, and thank you, Seth, for bringing this to all of us. So I've had a major shift, and I'm excited to even go deeper. And the shift started happening a little bit when we started doing the work getting ready for Thursday night. There's thoughts I've had enter my mind before that'll pass through. Like one major thing was that I sought acknowledgement and acceptance all my life. And I thought that before, but this time it went, oh, wow, that's why you overreact and take things personally when it's not about you. And that was a big eye opener. And a list of 3 or 4 different personal things came up that I have thought about before, that has raced through my mind, but I didn't know what to do with them, or how to address them, or to even think I could change them. So since I've started doing the neuro tools in the morning and the evening, I've been trying other things. There's been a lift of a weight off of me. And today I was in a situation where I was encountering someone that triggered me all the time, usually. And on the way to this meeting, I listened to a neurotool and set my mindset more open, more centered in love, more in my best self, and nothing was going to bother me. And it was an amazing meeting. I someplace where I presented, I did great. And this person and I interacted in a way we haven't before. I felt a weight lift, and I know other people will. And also, you grapple with things and like, okay, I can do this. I just have to do the work, once in the morning and one at night, and sometimes maybe in the afternoon, depending on my time. So I feel really blessed. And today I had another thought about something. Oh, you've been carrying that around. Okay, let's see what we can do to let that go, and focusing on my leaderboard. And I feel amazing. And I feel so grateful to have been brought to this. And I'm telling everybody, people that aren't even in LifeVantage, someone I know who I work out with spent the weekend learning about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So we were talking, she goes, oh, that's the same thing. I go, yeah. So it's wonderful. That's all. Blessed. Thank you.
So good. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've done the same thing. I've come across, parents that have got older teenage kids that are having difficulty. And I'm like, well, there's this really amazing lady that has these tools, and she's actually got an app that there's a lot of free stuff that you can check out and use. And then if you want to, subscribe in, it would be really good. That kind of stuff. But I listen to the neuro tools on the treadmill every morning at the gym. And I've caught myself when I'm going to do my chest press, I'm like, I can, I will, I am. And then I push it up on the yes, right? So it just makes me feel more empowered overall. So one more, Seth, we've got Pro 7, Bob Robbins on here. We would absolutely love Bob to hop in here and share with us his experience from this event.
Thank you, Marcy. And thank you, Seth. Appreciate, Seth, your example, your leadership, and just, again, who you are, right? If I have permission to be real, right? I was kicking and screaming, jumping into network marketing, into this opportunity, right? I felt like it was something I should do. The idea of neural tools and the idea of what Deb Erickson and things and the mindset thing, again, like Seth says, a lot for women. That is against my programming. It's against what, just who I am. And so literally kicking and screaming, just because I love following Seth. I love that he always walks across that bridge first. He walks across that plank first. He is always doing what he believes is right and what he needs to do before he ever brings anybody else across that bridge and make sure it's safe. It's just who he is. And I love it. And it hasn't changed in the 7-8 years that we've known and been around. He is an amazing leader. Somebody I hope to be like. And when he says, that he's stuck and that he's struggled with things, I'm thinking, oh, I'm in big trouble. So anyway, Seth, love and appreciate you. But as far as with Deb, I would tell you is that I understand the idea of positivity and where you focus and where you move and what you look at and what you listen to and who you are. I see it in the kids. I see it in my kids growing up. I see it in those with church that I help to mentor and lead and guide. And I understand that. And Deb has that to a greater degree than even my understanding was. But I will tell you something that touched me is there was a point where, Marcy, like what you were talking about, right? Trying to find out what are those self-limiting beliefs that had happened in our life at some point that keeps the lid on us, right? That allows us to say, hey, we can't jump any higher than that because that's all you've ever been able to do and you're not going to jump any higher. We had a follow-up call, and there were women that we've been able to be in the CEO meetups that we've been on doing Zooms with that I look at and that I respect and I look as leaders, loving, compassionate, amazing women. and they were sharing some of the self-limiting things that had occurred to them. And honestly, it was an eye-awakening moment because I never envisioned them having those weaknesses to hold them back. But I can see. And quite honestly, then I looked at how many times have I been that person that put that self-limiting belief on somebody else? My kids, possibly, right? Others around me. And again, it changed my mind, and I've been pondering and thinking a lot about it. But what I will tell you is that Deb, her program, what she does, the neural tools, is the ability, literally, as Don D talked about, right, that you can pivot and change. I likened it to our products, right? We talk how many times that you don't have to be stuck with the DNA that your mom and dad gave you, right? You can rewrite that DNA. You can be healthier. You can live longer. You can have a fuller life, right? Well, why do we have to be stuck with what's up here in our ears of what we've done for the last 40, 50, 60, 70 years? We don't have to. You can literally do the same type of thing with this change, pivot, move in another direction. And I promise you, and it's just kind of been showing me, right? You can never, you're not going to out earn your rank. You're not going to grow and become a leader greater than what you're capable to lead. But even more so than that, than who you think you are, right? So for me, I think Seth is an intergalactic 27, pro 27. I mean, he is amazing, right? I see that in him, and I can't believe that he's not there already. So again, why is he not there? Because in his mind, he hasn't gotten there yet. So what I would tell you is that I love this opportunity. There are literally 10, 20, 30, hundreds that I think need this in their life. Yes, for Life Vantage, just for this business, but I think in their personal life and who they're able to touch and be around, your level of leadership will grow beyond measure. So thanks for allowing me to share.
Whew. Wow. Dondi, Marcy, Odell, Bob, thank you for bringing it. We're going to go to Sam and Vandy Flake, Elite Pro 8s out of Arizona, to share their story. And I think they have David with us as well. And then we need to go to Soraya, and then we got to get to our special guest. So I'm going to make a tiny segue and give it up to Sam and Vandy. What was your big breakthrough?
Awesome. Well, first of all, I apologize for Vandy not being able to be here. We got a sick 5-year-old, one of our 4 kids, and so she couldn't be here right now. But thank you, Seth. Thank you, Deb. I second what Bob has said about Seth, and Deb, I appreciate what you're doing, and I really appreciate that I know your primary drive and focus and mission is women, but I really appreciate you letting us men kind of tag on coattails and things like that. Like as you know, it's not the culture for men to, be emotional and have issues and all that kind of stuff. But the truth of the matter is that we all do. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to be vulnerable and be real. And Seth has really opened that up. Deb, you opened it up, and I watched the Escape the Ordinary as well. And it just, I knew I had issues. I don't know who's more surprised that we've succeeded at this, myself or my family and friends, and I loved the introvert stuff and different things like that. But it's nice having, probably one of the biggest takeaways, it's nice having a safe place to share realness, and even though, yeah, we've hit Pro 8 and we did it fairly quickly, we were stuck for a long time. We've dropped back to Pro 7, and we're like doing what we can, like what is wrong, what is going on, and learning about, the caps we have, our subconscious. My biggest takeaway, probably my biggest breakthrough, was hearing that 95% of our, of our thoughts and everything comes from our subconscious. I mean, that just like blew me away. That, no wonder I'm having issues and struggling. So I'll just share a couple stories real quick. Then I'm introduce David Davidson, so we don't spend too much time here. But since I've been using the neural tools and doing the Escape the Ordinary, like, it's been interesting. One of the things I like is is attracting, you know, influencers and that kind of thing, ideal business leaders. And the other day there was a magic show in town, and I went, and my State Farm agent was sitting in front of me. He's a good friend. But you know, he's very influential in the community. And I just went and said, "Hi, how are you?" And he turns around and starts talking to me. And I don't ask anything about our business or anything. And he's taken Protandim, you know, for a while. And he just turns around and says, "Hey, I just want you to know that I got back on Protandim. My auto shop had been off for a little while. I got back on. I've been thinking about, you know, getting some other products, you know, looking at some of your other products too." I was just like, out of nowhere, you know, and so many times I've talked to him and he's never brought it up again, you know, kind of a thing. So that, and then I was at another store, and then another guy like has never really talked about this. He started asking me about it, and it's just like, can this be real? Like, can this be really happening? You know, that like it's going to be more natural, because a friend of ours on our team, a physical therapist out of Kauai, Hawaii, he had been struggling in the business for a while. He goes, it became a job instead of how it was in the beginning for him. He goes, I didn't want a job. I wanted it to flow more and be more natural. And that's so much how I felt. And he had done the same thing with a doctor, a chickenless guy of his, that he just started talking to one day on the beach recently, and finally had the courage to bring this up. And it'd been a year since he had sent him a video. He's like, "Oh, by the way, that Protandim," he'd brought it up to him. He goes, "Yeah, I think I want to try that. Why don't you send me that?" Just, you know, and and the last thing I want to share on me is last night I was listening to, it's one of those binary ones, Deb. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I love those double ones. Those are really cool. And I'm just listening to it just because I'm trying to get into it more. And all of a sudden I'm like finding myself like putting all this stuff in my stories and on Facebook. They're like, in my conscious mind, I never would do, you know, because of how it'll come across and that kind of thing. So there's more I can share, but I want to introduce you to David Davidson. He's an amazing man and father from Twin Falls, Idaho. And he has he had a really rough upbringing. He might share that real briefly. And he just, like, his 7-year-old self, he's talking to me about this today. You know, I think he was abused and just a lot of different issues. And he had some big breakthroughs. So David, why don't you share your breakthroughs?
David, you okay? You there? You hit unmute, and the mic is the microphone, the floor, the Zoom channel is yours.
He was on here a bit ago. David, are you on here still?
He's here. He's just on mute.
He may hopefully. Here's what we're gonna do. Sam, if you want to talk to David on the back channel and text him, maybe I don't know where his Wi-Fi is. I'm gonna go to Soraya, and then I'm gonna come back. Darlene Peters, first time here. Good to see you, girl. So glad that you're here. So Sam, you talk to David on the back channel. Let's go to Arizona. Soraya, amazing breakthrough story at Escape. Soraya, floor is yours. Somebody FedEx her some Kleenex, but don't send all you got, because you're going to need some for yourself.
Oh, thank you, Seth. I did actually have a huge breakthrough, and I wasn't expecting it. I actually turned on my computer Thursday night, and honestly, I show up to the events, you know, when I'm not working, and I do everything as much as I can. But it's a struggle for me, and I'm hitting my 7 years in LifeVantage this month. And so I show up to the events, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna work. And anyways, fast forward, I get all over the place and I'm trying not to cry, but if I cry, it's okay. It's healing. So, right? See, I learned. But when I first joined LifeVantage 7 years ago, and it's still emotional, but it's more emotional, just it gets better and better. But a week after I joined, I was so excited. I had an appointment that I got a no turned into a yes. And he said, I'll give you 30 minutes. And it's someone I've known forever. And I'm so excited. And so I call my upline to come with me, and my upline came with me, and we went and did this meeting, and we got done, and we walked outside. And she looked at me and she said, don't you ever waste my time again. I have other people I can better use my time with. And she was an elite in the company. So I was like, oh no, what did I do wrong? And so that I initially started getting all those different thoughts in my head. Well, then I kept pushing forward, and a couple weeks later, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this 3-way call thing, which I was terrified doing. And it was with one of my people on my chicken list, but I was super excited, gun ho, get on the call, we do the call, we get off the call, and she says, Soraya, you're wasting my time. So then in my mind, now I know, I started creating these stories. Okay, when do I call for a 3-way? When do I call to have someone help me with a meeting? Am I interrupting them? Am I, wasting their time? And I just started building this story up. And so fast forward, I had a killer, my best month was last December. I killed it. I put food on the table for my kids. I didn't have to skip a meal. I didn't have to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for my kids. It was awesome. But guess what? January came, and by the end of January, I panicked. I went into a down spiral. And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I know that's a lot of, past issues. Well, here's the thing. I needed a job. I needed to bring in income. God led me to real estate. In this market, you guys, God led me to real estate. And I'm thinking, and I'm arguing with him, of course, because I tend to do that. And I'm like, I'm not doing real estate in this market. I did it. No, wait, I'm not doing it. And he's like, yes, you are. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Okay, fine, I am. So I did it. So here's the funny side of things. I am set to, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's great for me. I'm set to have sold over $10 million in real estate here in Arizona in this crazy, crazy market. And I started thinking to myself, why can I do real estate, but I can't do LifeVantage? What is going on? What is wrong with me? Well, fast forward to Friday, as I'm listening to Deb Erickson, and I don't remember a lot of I just remember my aha moment. And it took me all the way back to that moment, my first moments in LifeVantage, because I know what we have. I know enough that I keep coming back, and I keep sticking it out, and I keep trying to press forward, figuring out what I'm not doing or what I need to do, and I'm actually super excited. I'm super, super excited. I feel like this weekend, I feel like a load has been, this huge heaviness is off my chest. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore, because I can take exactly what I'm doing in real estate. You just do it in LifeVantage. It's the same. I say that every time I go out and work with a client. It's the same thing. Talk with them the same. You're bold. So for me, I had an amazing weekend. I was super excited. And I love the neuro tools. I've been doing neuro tools. I do 2 to 3 every day for 10 plus years. So I'm very familiar with them. I love them. I've seen how they've changed my life. I see how they change perspective and how you think. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what? So anyways, I'm super excited. That was my breakthrough. And I just I'm so excited to just be a powerhouse and just build a team now and just continue to be a part of this community without that weight. So.
Wow, Soraya, thank you so much. 10 million, rock and roll, love it. You know what? 10 million is Pro 10, by the way. I mean, it's basically Pro 10. So
here's the thing though, real estate does not give you time freedom though. I am glued to my phone 24/7. It's not the same, guys, just so you know. I'll take 10 million and like them. Huh?
There's a white couch at the front of the next event. I'm going to put your name on it, reserved for Soraya Crandall. Awesome. Thank you so much. Sam's got David. David, you got 60 seconds, brother. We're so glad to have you on. Tell us what breakthrough you had, my friend.
Well, as Sam alluded to, yeah, I was suffering from abuse when I was a kid from both my father and my stepfather. And part of the way I dealt with it is I actually turned to an addiction myself in my life. And I've spent many years overcoming that addiction with the help of my Savior. But I still didn't have the belief in me. I've been in LifeVantage for, well, this last September, it's been six years. It's still Pro 1. I believed in the company. I believe in the products. But I'm still building me. And that's been this whole journey the last 6 years has just been building me. It wasn't until this weekend when Deb was explaining how to pivot from these emotions, the pain, and to choose and to make a conscious choice to be a leader, to be the person that the Lord sent you to be. It all clicked with me. It helped me to understand that I am the leader. I have a voice and I can share it with people. You know, part of that abuse helped me to be afraid of men for many, many years of my life. But even when I was in the service, having drill sergeants yell and screaming, yeah, I cower, and the fear and the anxiety was right there. I'd be standoffish to any type of male authority figure. And this has helped me understand it's because that 7-year-old David was trapped. And now I can choose. I can move forward. These neural twos, I've been using them for this whole week, and I love them. I listen to them while I'm loading my truck in the morning. I love them. Use them. They're great. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Seth. And thank you, Deb.
Love you, David. Thank you.
This is the work that we're doing. Bob put it in such a beautiful way to me that really hit me. You know, Bob looks at me different than I look at me. And while I appreciate his support and his encouragement, what really is going to make the biggest difference in my life is what I believe about myself. And I will never out-achieve, out-earn, out-lead, or out-accomplish my own personal belief in myself. That's why what we're doing here and building people, and David, thank you so much for sharing, is so doggone important. So what do you need? What are the tools that you need to take your life to the next level? You need some coaching. We got that. You need some classes. You need some curriculum. You need some to-dos, right? You need some learning. and you need some events that can absolutely change your life. So I want to turn this over to the next few minutes to a dear friend, to my basketball coach as well, because Deb was a former basketball coach. My game is up, by the way. My basketball game is up after Deb started coaching me. My mindset, it's amazing how changing your mindset will affect every part of your life. But I'm going to turn this over to Deb to talk about those three things, part of what she's doing at the ICan Institute, and action steps for you. So give it up. Please send some love, some high frequency vibes to my personal mindset coach and dear friend, Deb Erickson.
Woohoo, guys. Wow. I was texting Seth through this whole thing. Oh man, I was so excited, guys. Your stories are absolutely extraordinary. And so I don't feel like there's a lot that I need to say, but I do need to tell you a few things because you guys, you said it all. But I am going to tell you this. I'm going to suggest that tonight you need to go to ICanInstitute.com, right? ICanInstitute.com. What you will see there is this information I'm gonna talk about for just a second. As you scroll down, what you are going to see, you'll see great results. People who are using our system, they're doubling their sales, they're quadrupling their recruiting, they're ranking up at extraordinary rates. You're going to see all of that. But what I really want you to look at is this right here as you scroll down from that main page. This is the system. For 25 years, I've been teaching, coaching, creating neurotools, doing all of those things. And it was like I was all over the map. And finally, about 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? I need to pull all of it inside of a system. And then since April, we came out with the app. Now, here's basically what I want you to recognize is that I discovered a long time ago that a breakthrough event can rattle your cage, give you a new perspective. It anchors, right? It creates an anchor so that your brain has this point that it's like, so the things you were looking for start showing up. So one of the things I thought was fascinating about what Sam said is what so many people do is I started using the tools. I had this big breakthrough, right? I started engaging with everything. And then here's the quote, out of the blue, this conversation happened. Out of the blue, someone said, out of the blue. So Sam, I love you, but nothing is out of the blue. You did that, my friend. You shifted your energy. And when you shift your energy and all of a sudden there's a space, what happens is your light's shining, right? You are projecting confidence and energy. And so what happens is people feel you, they see you in a much different way. And so conversations that eluded you a week ago, all of a sudden are coming out of the blue, they're happening. But I really want you to, it feels out of the blue, I totally get that, but I want you to own the fact that you did that. You did the work, you broke open the opportunity, you had the breakthrough, and now look what's happening. And so I'm gonna kind of wet your whistle a little bit and tell you a little more. If that happens with little to no effort on your part, you just showed up. Imagine if we had a structured plan, if there was a proven path, something you could repeat over and over and over consistently and have out of the blue moments happening every single day. That's where flow comes. That's where joy comes. That's where all of that. So what I want you guys to know is the system that creates that, it's called the ICan neurosystem. It's based on 3 component pieces. This comes from my years in education, but this is how adults learn. You have to have a curriculum. You need to learn something new so that your brain is engaged, right? It's opening up and having moments and breakthroughs and all of that's happening. That's number one. The second piece of the equation here is called do it, which means this is where you are applying what you're learning. And by the way, children don't need this. They can just practice something and memorize it. But adults' minds don't work the same way. And so adults have to learn something and then immediately go use it, go apply it. But that's where the challenge is, isn't it? Right? There's so many times you come home, as Sarai said this, she comes home from an event, she's all worked up and she's like, I got it. And then 2 days later, a week later, right back to the old habits, right? And so what the neural tools do is it breaks the pattern, breaks the cycle, right? It's a pattern interrupt. So all of a sudden you're able to go, whoa, 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 right? Time to stop and pivot. All of you talked about pivoting as being such a powerful tool. So what we got to do is get the conscious mind and the subconscious mind working together so that you can choose moment to moment to moment to moment. And that's the do it side of the equation. There are 80 neural tools, guys, in this system. And all of your system is in your pocket. It goes with you everywhere. So you can have the power in your pocket to create that change. The third piece of the equation is live it. And this is basically where you get a chance to show up on a Monday mindset call, get some live coaching, ask some questions, show up at the Facebook community, bare your heart and soul, right? Find accountability buddies. What we know is that women, I'm going to talk women first, women are 86% more likely to achieve their goals if they have a community, a coach, and accountability, right? So men generally don't need those same things. I'm going to talk about there's two kinds of guys in the world. I mean, I'm really oversimplifying, but there's kind of the macho, I'll do it myself guy. And then there are all the other guys, right, that have a sensitive side. They were wounded at some point in time in their life, and they are evolved. People always say, can guys do this program? And I go, yeah, if they're evolved. In other words, you got to be open, is what Sam talked about. Man. Open your heart, open your mind. The first time I met Seth, it was like, this is a dude that has wounds in his past and is evolving like on crack. I mean, this is a guy that is committed and moving and moving and moving. And so here's the key, guys. This system, right? It's with you all the time. It's in your pocket. You got it 24/7, but this is what we're going to focus on. We're going to take a class together. Those of you who decide you're jumping in and you're going to say today, I'm in, man, I'm all in, I'm going for it. We're going to take a class together so we can learn it. I will give you weekly assignments. You're going to use your neural tools. So you'll have focus and direction, and you'll have a community around you, right? This is what is required. Okay. And so my suggestion is you're going to come right to the ICanInstitute.com, and where it says join a membership, you're going to click on that and it'll take you to the memberships. My suggestion is for each and every one of you to jump into Gold. Gold is the place where you get access to the entire system, all the neural tools. You have neural tools for your kids as well. There's an ICan for kids in there. And you get Monday mindset, all of that's available. And I want you guys to see that on our website, it's $49 a month, but Seth has a code. Seth invested heavily, because not only did he want a time and attention for him, but he wanted something for you. So Seth has a code that's going to lower this to $34.50, the lowest price that we've ever sold membership for. So you'll get access every single month to the entire system for just $34.50 a month. Okay. Right now, I don't think any of you need to go over to Platinum. And you can always upgrade, right? But this is where you're going to get the classes and the tools. I do also want to show you one other thing, because those of you who say, Deb, but I'm a leader. And I would say this is really for like pro 6 and above, right? And you want to rank advance, where it says I can rank advance masterclass. Seth is going to take this class, as are a number of Life Vantage 6 and above. That I'm not saying as a 5, you can't do it, but I'm saying you're really going to get the most out of it if you have some team already. But this masterclass, guys, is for leaders. It's for emerging leaders. It's for people who are committed to move to leadership. And I'm not going to go into all of it. I want you to get in and read it. It's a much more intense, it's a very small community. So I'll put my arms around you. I'll be working with you in a much more personal way. Our accountability, our motion, it all happens here with the intention to move you, to get you into motion, right? So if you are saying to me, I've been stuck at 8, I've been stuck at 7, I can't figure out how to move back. Let me tell you that our graduates from this class, it's only 10 weeks long, but our graduates from this class, 60, I think it's 60, I'm sorry, it's on the homepage. It was 62%, maybe it's better than that. Rank advance, either requalified at a rank they hadn't hit in a year or rank advance during the 10 weeks. I'm telling you, this is for those of you who say, I'm serious, I'm serious, I'm serious. Now, it starts in January. So our plan is, and it's what Seth is doing too, is we're all going to jump in and do a class called I Can Build. And in that class, we're going to work on your mindset towards your belief, right, in your ability to be the boss, to have an entrepreneurial approach to your business and build an extraordinary business. When you finish that segment, your confidence and belief is off the hook. Okay, so everybody's kind of starting there. And then we're going to kind of diverge. Those of you in gold, you're going to go on and do I Can Sell Recruit, which is phenomenal, off the hook class. It's inside your membership around shifting your mindset about selling and recruiting, helping you become, just an extraordinarily confident seller and recruiter, right? Well, you will be enrolling people like crazy because you do have that they're coming out of the woodwork, right? Out of the blue. And then those of you who are leaders, right, who are going to jump into the rank advance, you will kind of take a second path and we are going to move you quickly, right? Our whole focus is advancing, get momentum running. So the reason we're all starting together is we want to build momentum here. And then as we diverge, we're going to hit your specific need. But those of you who decide to go into rank advance, and right now online, it's $13.97. Seth's price is $8.97. So not quite half, but you can see such a huge discount. So those of you who want to jump in, here's how you do that, by the way. When you go in, I just got to show you this one thing. You always look for, see where it says have a promo code. Seth, what's your promo code? CEO? Tell me what it is, Seth.
CEO 50, CEO 50.
CEO 50. And when you do that, it will adjust down to your payment. And there are payment plans should you need that. You guys got all that. But everything you do, it's the same discount code, right? But I wanted you guys to see those two things because you need to go to my website to order those, but you're going to go to Seth's website and he'll tell you all about that in a minute to get your tickets for Ascend. Ascend is in early April, second weekend in April. And our focus at that is going to help you have a breakthrough in your core belief about any limitations you might have around selling and recruiting. Okay. So if you thought escape was a breakthrough, hold on to your hats because Ascend makes you feel like you're floating. Ascend makes you feel like you are truly unstoppable at the two most critical component pieces in your business, right? Being able to attract and enroll brand new people into your organization. All right, Seth, I tried to move fast. What else do you need from me? Anything else?
Deb, I just think everybody wants, if you guys can light up, those of you who've been working with Deb, any of the neuro tools, any of the events, any of the coaching. Deb played with Mary Lynn Lawrence, who is one of our rock stars here in Utah, who had tremendous breakthroughs. I'm talking about here's a woman in her 50s who is carrying a burden and an experience for over 50 years of her life. And this is going to put you in touch with you. So can everybody just share some gratitude, share a message, a personal message from you to Deb, and send out that frequency. Deb, all we want you to do, all I ask you to do is just receive our deep felt gratitude and friendship and support as we go liberate what we're doing here at LifeVantage is locking arms with you to truly liberate and free the women of the world.
I'm loving
Lighten
it.
up that chat box.
Woo! I'm seeing it, guys. My heart is very full. My heart is very full. And I'll tell you, I'm not surprised at the breakthroughs, because that's what happens when you do this work. What I will tell you is, I want you to come and play, because I do want to say this. Seth is extraordinary. Seth is unbelievably unusual. Seth is a rock star. I mean, Seth is just quite, what's the word I really want you to hear? He's not normal. He's not normal. And that is such an amazing gift for you guys. He does not subscribe to the push, force, dominate, overwhelm, manipulate. He's not any of that. He's heart driven. He is such a pure soul. I just have to say it. Seth is amazing. And that is so unusual in our industry. Nobody has the advantage that you have to have that kind of a leader leading the way. And so if you think I have any value at all, imagine you put me and Seth together on a team, and you guys, this is your opportunity to break free and soar. I'm going to tell you a really quick little story before I have to go. There was a book written, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's called Even Eagles Need a Push. And the story basically goes on and on and on about mama eagles. They build their nest high on the cliff face, and they do it for a really specific reason, because when baby eaglets are physically able to fly, you know what mama does? Shoves them out of the nest. Lovingly shoves them out of the nest. And you know why? Because if those baby eaglets don't have that force experience out, they'll never jump out. They don't do it by themselves. They don't really get what their wings are built for. But when mama forces them out of the nest, all of a sudden the wind comes up underneath them, the air comes up, the currents come up, and it forces their wings to expand. And when that happens, all of a sudden they start flying. Now, if she miscalculates, she shoves them out of the nest and they die because they're not big enough, their arms aren't strong enough, all of that, the wings. But mama eagles are so good at this that they know the exact moment to do it, because if they wait too long, the wings begin to deteriorate. And if it's too soon, it doesn't catch the wings. But she has the brilliance, the awareness, she's got everything she needs to know the moment. And then she loves them enough, right, to push them into a condition so they can understand why they were born, what they were built for. And, you know, every single time I think about Seth, I think about that story, because Seth is kind of that mama eagle, right? Seth is kind of that energy that says, I love you. I really, really love you. And it's time to fly. It's time to go. It's time to soar. And that's what this is. This is an opportunity. If you're going to come and play with us, that's what you're going to get from us. You're going to get love, and you're going to get support, and you're going to get a shove out of the nest. We're going to give you the tools to walk beside you, but we're going to give you what you need to soar, guys, because there's no more time to waste. No more time to waste. You've been involved long enough, and every single day that you stay stuck, your brain kind of anchors in the set point. And what we're going to do is, man, we want to break that free. And so we've got a lineup. If you'll trust us, we're going to put you in a class, and then we're going to put you in a second class, and then you're going to use the neuro tools. And then we got an event coming. We're going to do everything you need Mama Eagle. Seth, that's your new nickname. All right. I just had to share because that's who Seth is. And I know.
Deb, thank you so much. First, I'm an evolved man. Deb actually, one time when we first got to know each other, she was listening to me on Clubhouse and she's like, man, this dude is such a woman. And now I'm evolved man. And now I am a mama eagle. Whew. Like, think about David, think about where you're going. I mean, think about where you're going, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Deb. I'm going to say one thing and then I know that you have to go. There was a time very recently, maybe 5 minutes ago, where all of these accolades and all of the love here, while it feels great, would be a little bit uncomfortable for me because I didn't want to accept my greatness because that's not humble. Or because, well, no, don't shine a light on me because are you kidding me? You know how many amazing leaders are on this call? I don't want it to take away from them. That is negative, does not serve me programming. And I'm going to get a little vulnerable. I am going to let my light shine. I'm going to be who God intended me to be. And my greatest desire is for each one of you. I'm looking at my screen and I'm not going to say everybody. Linda, you were on here first, so I'll shout you out right now. My good friend David, Lillian, Cassie, Florence, I could go all around. My desire, what we are here to do is to help you shine your light brighter. And yes, Laura Tuttle, I hope those eyes continue to water. Brighter and farther and more. Yes, Beverly. Yes, Carolee, more passionately and beautifully and purely than they ever have. And so I am going to take it. I'm going to accept all the love that you put here. I'm going to gladly, wow, it feels great. And I'm here for you. I'm here to invite you. I'm extending my hand. Dondi and Marcy are too. Sam, every single one of us. It's time for us to go fully step into who we are. So Deb, thank you so much. Okay, we just spent an hour and 7 minutes talking about you. Yeah, because if we don't get us right, then you're going to use the product and you're not going to do everything that you could possibly do. I'm here because we're going Executive Master Pro 10 in 2022. Okay, so we've just spent a lot of time talking about you. All right, great. Just get it. This is a new flavor. This is a new culture for us in CEO and all of our family teams, right? Freedom Reigns and Believe and Biohackers and Aloha. And I could go on and on and on, right? It's one big family. But we're going to change LifeVantage. We are going to, this is an amazing company. This is a space where you can bloom. But we're going to change it, okay? We are going to be the change that puts this company into its fulfillment because I believe that God brought this company into LifeVantage. And it's time for this company to be shoved out of the freaking nest and spread our wings and fly. So number one, we just hit you and hammered you with mindset. We're going to go to number two, and we're going to be a lot faster. Okay, with some of the tactical stuff. I am so proud and happy to share my screen with you and introduce to you, drum roll please, a proven plan. All right, a proven plan. This is a 3-step system. If you will just put your mind here, this is a proven plan to get to Pro 3. No, not right now. This is a proven plan to get to Pro 3. Number one, I'm going to walk you through that. Would you girls, beautiful girls, close that door for me, please? Thank you. Step one, by the way, I'm going to recruit, I'm recruiting you. This is what's going in your hands. How do you get your hands on this document? You go to Facebook or you get to any one of your leaders who can send it to you. And where did I put it now? It's on Facebook here somewhere. Where's my Facebook? I've got so many things open. There it is. You go to Creating Entrepreneurs Online, our Facebook community, and guess what, baby? While you were all talking and sharing your stories, I already uploaded it. This PDF is ready for you to print out and duplicate like crazy. Hey, all of y'all remember Don DeMarcy, right? The proven plan that Mark and I wrote years ago. This is the simplified one-page fast track version of that. So what are you going to do to be successful and get yourself to Pro 3? Okay. Number one, hold on, we got some background noise. Number one, you're going to plug into the system. By the way, I just printed this out yesterday. Okay. Or day before, I'm on day 3 today, by the way. Okay. I'm doing this. Okay. This is how I'm getting brand new Pro 3 volume in 2 new legs to then create Pro 8s out of that. Okay. This next 12 months. Number one, plug into the system. Jumpstart your business with a business pack. Check. Commit your calendar to your business. That's how you plug in. Register for the next big event. We know that's February, right? Elite Academy in Orlando. It's also the Ascend event. Get your tickets for Ascend. Those tickets are $119 through ICan Institute. We pre-purchase tickets. They're $50. Go to www.team.ceo and you can buy your ticket and reserve it for that event already. Schedule your upcoming team events. You want to take your new person and plug their calendar into your team, right? I know I'm doing power hours with the team every day. I'm doing meetups 3 times a week. Whatever you're doing specifically to mentor and to build your event cadence, you're going to plug them in right there. You're going to connect them to your team communication apps. In other words, WeChat, WhatsApp, Facebook communities, right? You're going to plug them in there. Plug into the system is step number 1. If somebody is plugged in the system, they're going to feel some energy from the team. Step number 2, and this is radical because I've never done this before. And Sam, out of the blue, Sam, who's wearing a blue t-shirt tonight, right? Can you see Wi-Fi? Can you see Bluetooth? Can you see radio waves? No, but are they real? Yes. When you start plugging yourself into your leadership frequency, okay, when you get on that frequency that God is sending out, and I'm telling you, here's what God is going to tell you that you should say to yourself. Seth Mulder, here's what I want you to say. I can, I will, I am, yes. Those are the messages that God would give me. But you got to be tuned into that frequency. Okay. So we're going to feed our mind. We have tools through Deb's system, tools to feed your mind every day. They're called neuro tools. I'm so flippin' excited for those of you who are not listening to these yet to get on to these neuro tools. And I'm going to unveil this officially. I leaked it yesterday, but I'm throwing into the chat right now. If I can get onto the chat. I'm throwing into the chat right now a Command V. Oh, stink. I'm throwing into the chat right now a hyperlink to a neuro tool that we developed. Deb and I developed specifically. And by the way, this is different than any of other Deb's neuro tools. They're all amazing, by the way. But this neuro tool is specifically for LifeVantage. Like we talk about LifeVantage in the neuro tool. It specifically talks about activation. It specifically talks about dreaming your way to Pro 3. We developed a custom Pro 3 neuro tool. Okay. Thank you, Sam. I've been listening to this as we developed. I've been listening to it. Again, like Bob said, I'm crossing the bridge. Okay. I love this neuro tool. I'm listening to this neuro tool every single day, at least until I develop that brand new Pro 3 volume. Like I'm with you. I'm at 0, right? You can also find that neuro tool here on the CEO Creating Entrepreneurs Online team Facebook community. Team leaders, elites, premiers, take this and R&D, not research and develop, rip off and duplicate. Okay? Rip off and duplicate this. Put this out there. These two things, these two powerful tools we're putting in your hands today. All right, back to where we were. Back to screen share. If I can get back there. Okay, so where's our document? Right here. So feed your mind. 2 neuro tools a day will give you those results Deb talked about. 50% or 100% increase in selling and recruiting. And we're going to help you develop your first 10-day habit. What do you do after that? Maybe you should copy this, but get into that habit of listening to 2 neuro tools a day. I'm excited to get some feedback on that Pro 3 neuro tool, by the way. I absolutely adore it. Step 3, how do you get to Pro 3? Take 10. Take 10 people, take them by the hand and tour them, tour guide them through ITT. Okay, you know the steps to ITT. You know where you can find the videos. The CEO app has them. You can get them on the LifeVantage app. I'm not so concerned about what video you're using, to be quite honest, right? Or what version of the ABC News report, or what version of the Aaron Brockovich video that I'm working on right now. You heard me right. Working in the development stages of an opportunity video with Aaron Brockovich. Okay. Hey, by the way, whoever just placed their order, Dondi and Marcy Nettles. Thank Dondi and Marcy just bought their ticket for Ascend, by the way. Thanks, Dondi and Marcy, for leading out, crossing that bridge. Okay. ITT works. ITT works. Invite them to a first touch video. Get them in front of the tool, which is a LifeVantage presentation, live, pre-recorded, whatever. We're going to do one, right? Dondi, Marcy. Okay. Chris Michael, we're in Salt Lake tomorrow, doing that for people who are flying into the company, right? I don't care what it is. Invite, tool, and then get them to the team. What's a team? Well, you can do 3-way calls. You can do meetups. You know, I'm using this event. I have 2 incredible people, personal friends of mine, who are here tonight on this training because this is a team event, right? And I'm just checking the boxes. And tonight I get to check a box for them. Okay. They invited the team of, they came to the team event. If you will take, not invite, not hope, not just send the link. This is the seriousness of your business. If you will take 10 people on this Disneyland tour, right, to these 3 attractions, ITT, you're going to build volume. You will build volume. You will sell to customers. But importantly, this has been designed so that you will recruit distributors. Okay. Mark my words, go do this. Bottom, complete this proven plan and then repeat to build volume on volume on volume to get yourself to Pro 3. Now help every single member of your team duplicate this simple process. I'm happy to unveil finally the last revision of a proven plan. Okay. Lastly, what are we going to do through the holidays? Okay, we have a plan and a system to take you through the holidays. Of course, it's this document, but as Deb said, we're going to go and do a class together. So for those of you who have a silver or a gold membership, okay, and let me just pause. Why in the world am I working with somebody outside of our company? I'll tell you why. Because I want speed. Network marketing is not so much a game of numbers. Numbers are important. It is a game of energy. It's energy. You raise your personal energy, you're going to recruit more and you're going to recruit better people. I guarantee it. Okay. You help more people move and focus with more energy. You're going to start to create duplication. Momentum equals energy. All momentum is energy. So I needed Deb. And so I could do this and develop all of this all on my own, or I could find somebody who's already put it there and I could give it to you and I could support Deb's business. And that's what I chose to do because I don't have time to take the slow way. Right? I don't have time to take the slow way. I needed personally what Deb had. And because it was so impactful and life-changing for me, I thought, how selfish would it be for me to put off 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 18 months for me to develop everything. And by the way, I couldn't do it. It's taken Deb 20 years to put this together. I don't want that. I want you to plug in. For those of you who will take our recommendation to invest in yourself, okay? It's been that impactful for me. And like Deb said to Sam, can you imagine what, and Richard Langenheim, who's sitting right there in the middle of my screen, this dude went from, Richard, thanks for letting me draw your story, from not contacting and being scared to contact people to having over 400 in a matter of 3 weeks to a month, having reached out, invited, and having over 400 people say, yes, send me the videos. Okay. So I know this stuff works. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a class together that Deb offers. Okay. It's a 5-week class. It starts next week. You have to have a membership to do it. Gold is what I recommend. You know, I negotiated that down to $34.50. Okay. And again, if you do it for a month and you don't like it, say, send me a bill for $35. 50 cents is on me, and I'll cut a check for you. All right. If you invest and you don't get out of it. Okay. Because I don't see that it's conceivable. That's how strong I am, how much I believe in this. You can also do the silver membership, by the way, because there's one class that comes in silver membership. Silver membership with our discount code is $19.50. And that class is included. The only class that's included. All of the classes are included. All of the regular classes. She's got master classes. Okay. She was talking about that too, but the regular classes, 6 classes, it's more than enough. Okay. Is in the gold membership. We're starting that next week. I believe, Sam, you said the 17th, right? I think it's next Wednesday. It is. The first class drops, okay, next Wednesday. So I'm going to invite you to come with me. I'm taking that class. Dondi and Marcy are taking that class. Sam and Vandy are taking that class. And then we're going to learn, literally, Deb didn't design this for us, but she's like, Seth, we're going to talk about what a CEO mindset is, okay? So it's going to be an amazing 5 weeks to get your mindset and action. Here's one thing that you'll get with Deb. This isn't just I feel good about myself, positive mental attitude kind of program. You can't do this without taking action, right, Beverly? I mean, Beverly's been one of my guinea pigs. It's been life-changing for her, right? She's got things happening in her business that weren't happening before, because she is gladly and joyously taking action, and a higher frequency of action than she has in a long time, or maybe ever. I'll tell you, I had somebody who called me, they may actually be on this call tonight, and they said, Seth, what is Beverly doing? Because whatever she's doing, I want to be doing that, because I see a change in her. Okay. So we're going to be taking an ICan build class. How do you get ready for this? All you need to do is go to Deb's website, ICaninstitute.com. Okay. Go to membership. Again, I'm going to recommend gold. I don't even have somebody who's taken silver, but she just lowered the price on silver. So, but get on the gold or silver membership. Okay. On the monthly, you'll get the best price by using our code on the monthly, the monthly price with our code, CEO50. Okay. And we're going to take this. That class starts next week, November 17th. It'll be 5 weeks. It'll take us to the end of December. This is how you're going to take in super high frequency, super high energy all the way through the holiday. Okay. And you're going to have high numbers. Okay. We're not going to leave any money on the table. And then right after this 5-week class, we're going to jump into a 10-week class called I Can Sell and Recruit. I Can Sell and Recruit. And it's going to be phenomenal. And that's going to take us, January, February, and into March. And then in April, right, we're doing that event, Ascend. Ascend is a sponsoring summit. It's all designed about sponsoring. So that's what I'm giving to you. I've been working on this for 9 months. Some of you have been invited to cross the bridge with me, and it's been life-changing. We're going to take over 500 people to that event at Ascend in April. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do an intake. In other words, before we start this journey together, I want to find out where you really are. Okay. So I'm working on our team website, www.team.ceo, which should be a resource for any individuals in our global team and also elites. You know, we'll have links to Team Freedom Reigns website on there too. Just all this information, you elites can take this and do with this information what you need to for your specific teams. Okay. So what you got to do is as you go global and as your teams start splintering, if you will, growing eaglets, right? Elites upon masters. That's what we have built for each one of you. You can go and build a master type of business with what we're putting together. Okay. So we have a plan. We have a mindset. We have a proven plan, and we have a plan for the holidays. We are officially done. I'm going to kick off. This has been an hour and a half. I was hoping we could do it an hour, but in true Seth fashion, I'm not normal. We laid it on tonight. So this will be available by tomorrow morning for download off of our YouTube site. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you. This is going to be my new sign, right? This is going to be our new sign. It'll be available for download. Please share it with your teams. How does that go? Anyway, so glad. Hey, Dee, my friend Dee Peters, thanks for being here. Dee is actually just started the product recently, but she is an entrepreneurial attorney who's going to join us on the team as a CEO. So I'm so glad. This is her first team event. I just wanted to give a shout out to her and my friend Kim Seng as well. So recording is off, but I'm sure you're going to have